Hello, hello. Welcome back. My name is Danae Wolf. I am a financial literacy coach and a profit strategist, which means that I help ambitious entrepreneurs like you increase your profits and decrease your stress. I do this by teaching financial literacy in my signature program, Profit Perfect. Profit Perfect is your one-stop shop for all things small business accounting. But don't worry, guys, this isn't the textbook accounting that your CPA studied in school. This is entrepreneurial accounting, which is all about learning how to make and keep more money. In the course, you guys can expect to learn everything from how to use QuickBooks Online to how to manage your cash and form your LLC. Everything you need is in there, guys. And my favorite part is that every week I get to show up on Zoom and answer all of your burning financial questions. So each week you will get an invitation to a Zoom meeting with me so that you can come in face to face and ask me questions. And what I want you guys to know is your access to the Zoom calls never expires. So it's not going to be a situation where once you're finished the course and you've taken all 5 modules, you lose access to Zoom. No, you guys can take the course this summer. And let's say you have questions next year at tax time, which I know you will, you can hop into Zoom and I am happy to speak with you. So if you guys are ready to take control of the money in your business and stop letting it control you, I really want you to check out Profit Perfect. I've got it linked below, or you can head on over to Instagram and find me at the Chic CFO. So that's the CHIC CFO. Shoot me a DM and I will tell you everything you need to know about the program. Now, in today's video, what we are going to be talking about is what the heck is profit margin and why is it important? And if you guys have any entrepreneurial friends, please share this with them. I really believe that knowledge is power and we have got to share the power in this country. So I am dedicated and passionate about teaching entrepreneurs all of this stuff so that you guys can make strategic decisions. You have to get the money stuff under control in your business. And one of the biggest things that you should know as an entrepreneur is what your profit margin is. The profit margin will tell you how profitable your business is. That's really important for you guys to know because it helps you make really smart decisions. Because once you know how profitable the company is, you can really start strategizing and planning and saying, okay, if I know that my profit margin is X, then I need to sell this many to get to the income that I want. Because what are we all trying to do, guys? We're trying to build companies that can support the lives we desire, right? We always want to make sure that we are building a company that can give us the life we want. And in order to do that, we have to understand what our profit margin is. So the way that you calculate your profit margin is by taking your profit and dividing it by your revenue. So as an example, let's say that the profit of your business was $5,000 and your revenue was $15,000. That means that you've got a 33% profit margin. In other words, for every dollar you brought in, you pocketed 33 cents. So now you are able to do the math and really figure out what your company needs to do. So if we calculate our profit margin and we now know for every dollar that comes in the door, we're going to make 33 cents. We're able to figure out how much money we want to make in order to have the life that we desire. Divide it by 33 cents, and then boom, you know exactly what your business needs to do. Now you have an exact revenue goal. Too often when I speak to entrepreneurs and I say, what is your revenue goal? They give me a very blanket answer. And typically, guys, it's 1 million, 2 million, 10 million. It's kind of these big round numbers, okay? And the first thing I say is, why? And they're just like, well, it's a milestone I want to hit. But why? Why? Right? We always have to come back to the why because we want to be intentional with everything that we do in our company. So you don't want a revenue goal that you pulled out of thin air, right? You want to figure out what is my profit margin, so that you know what you're going to make for every dollar that comes through the door, and then take that and divide it by the money you want to make. And now you know exactly how many dollars have to come through that door. Now, the second component of profit margins that I also want to make sure that you guys are educated about, because this first one was the profit margin, that's for the overall business. The second piece I want to talk about is your gross profit margin. Now, this is different because in the first scenario, we looked at the profit of the business and we divided it by the revenue. When we talk about the gross profit, we're talking about revenue minus your cost of goods or your cost of sales. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say that you have a restaurant and you sell food, right? Your cost of goods is going to be the actual food and packaging that it took in order to get that meal out the door. So when your customer comes in and buys a burger, you've got to count the burger, the lettuce, the cheese, the bun, the wrapping that you put in to get it out the door, right? That's your cost of goods, because you are unable to make that sale, follow through on that sale, if you don't purchase those items, right? So that's going to be our cost of goods. Now, if you are a service provider, it's going to be considered cost of sales. So let's say you are a bookkeeper, such as myself, and you have a bookkeeping business and you've got an agency and you have other bookkeepers who are working for you. Your cost of service is what you have to pay your bookkeeper. So it might not be a physical product that's going out the door and you're paying for supplies, but you do have that payroll. So when we're talking about our gross profit margin, it is simply us saying, okay, every time I have a sale, here are the costs associated with it, right? So let's say, you know, every time you sell a burger, it costs $1 to get it out the door. That's all the supplies, right? So now you know you're left with $4, right? So that is the difference, that gross profit margin, because essentially you need to say, every time I have a sale, here's the cost associated with it. Here is what is left over. So in order to calculate that, you take your cost of goods or your cost of sales and you divide it by your revenue. So let's say you had $5,000 for your cost of goods and your revenue that came in was $10,000. That means you have a 50% gross profit margin. So now that means you have 50% left over to cover all of your operational expenses and you. So this is a really powerful number to know, right? Because this is getting even more micro than we did in the first scenario where we just calculated the profit margin, right? Now we're talking about the gross profit margin. So now you're putting it yourself in a situation where you're saying, okay, every single time I sell a widget, you know, whatever it is you sell, I have $4 left over. That $4 has to be enough to pay you and pay all of your operational expenses. And now you're really able to say, okay, so maybe my operational expenses cost me $10 a month. I'm just using generic numbers here. Let's say your operational costs are $10 a month and you want to pay yourself $20 a month. So now you know I need $30 a month. So now we can do that math, right? We can say, okay, well, every time we bring revenue in, we know that $1 goes to our cost of goods or our cost of services. So we only have $4 left. We need to make $30. Now we can do 30 divided by 4. And now you know how many products or service you have to sell. See, this is the magic that happens when we look at the data, because this is how you guys are able to have strategic goals. This is how you're able to be intentional, okay? And one of my favorite ways to figure this out, guys, is literally in QuickBooks Online. Pull a profit and loss report, and you can hit a button that says percentage of income, and boom, your profit margins will appear. They're going to appear at the top under your cost of goods. That's going to give you your gross profit. And then you're also going to get it at the bottom of the P&L under net income, your overall profit margin. And you guys are able to look at this and say, okay, maybe my gross profit margin is, 50, 60%, But then all of a sudden, when I get to my overall profit margin, I drop down to 3%. Well, what does that tell us? It tells us that our operational expenses are very high, and we're able to see what the problem is and start identifying it, right? Numbers don't lie. They tell the story of your business. So it's really important that you guys are paying attention to this, because if you know overall your profit margin is you only make 33 cents for every dollar that comes through the door, now you're able to say, okay, that means I need $350,000 to come through the door every year. Let's just say that you did all the math and that's what that tells you. Now you have to say to yourself, okay, in order to get my business to $350,000 a year in revenue, what does that look like? And I want you guys to be micro, okay? Really think about it. Having a business at that revenue level, what does that mean? What would that entail? How many employees does that mean that you need? And then ask yourself, do I want that? I've gone through this scenario with students and they say, wow, for me to get to the revenue that I would need to get to, I would need to double my staff. And managing team members is one of my least favorite things to do. So that wouldn't work for me. And then boom, that light bulb goes off and they realize I am not building a company that can support the life I desire. Because in order to make the money that I want to make and have the lifestyle I want to make, I have to grow this company into something that I don't want, right? This is what you need to know, guys. This is how you become a strategic and intentional entrepreneur. So I hope that this was beneficial. I hope you learned something. Please let me know if you had any aha moments. Drop it in the comments. I love learning from you guys what you're getting from this content. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this content and really thinking about what you guys need. And I want to know, like, is there something else you want? Is there something else you want to learn? I was super excited about this training today. I think it's really, really beneficial for all entrepreneurs to know what your profit margin is. You need to know where you fall so that you're able to run the numbers and really think about what your business needs to do. Because sometimes people think, oh, I need to do $500,000 a year in revenue. Well, how do you know that? What's your profit margin? Did you break it down? Did you really sit there and figure out how much money do you personally want to take out of your business? And let's divide it by that margin and see what it says. And are you happy with the way it's all playing out? So this, I believe, scenarios and try, the various equations. What did you get? Let me know in the comments. You guys can also reach out to me at the Chic CFO on Instagram. I'm happy to chat with you on DM. Any types of questions. If you're struggling to calculate your profit margin or your gross profit margin, I am here to help you. This stuff lights me up. I love talking about it. And I hope that this video was beneficial to you. And if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it.